Are you one of those people that is in the dilemma what to do with the family home? What do I mean? You find that your parents passed on and they've left you and your siblings that property. They could have passed on without a will, or they could have passed on with a will where they've actually said the three of you, the four of you are entitled equally so to the family home. The confusion that comes with that. My name is Shili Boy. I'm your tax and financial advisor. I talk everything that has to do with tax, financial planning, and property. Yes, it's a common thing that some people, their parents left them with that so-called family home, and the parents could have said in their will that all my children are equally entitled to that family home, or for that matter, because the parents have passed on without a will, therefore the distribution of that particular family home is going to be done under what you call Interstate Succession Act. Therefore, by virtue of you guys being children, then you're entitled equally so to that family home. That can create a lot of tensions in most families, where especially the beneficiaries don't see eye to eye. You may find that someone is not interested in that particular property, or another one is business minded, wants to add a couple of rooms and invite others to ensure that, listen, let's come together, let's build more rooms, let's generate income. But the other person says, listen, I'm not interested in this venture of yours, therefore you're on your own. However, I'm not disposing my property. So it's always a common challenge around family homes that can result in a lot of squabbles and potentially can end up making families not to get along. So that's why it's so important, colleagues, to make sure that we plan carefully. I always encourage clients to say, listen, guys, when you are doing estate planning, make sure that you don't result in fragmented assets, because that on its own can create quite a nightmare, or administratively can actually create a nightmare for the beneficiaries unintended. So please, guys, when you do that, think thoroughly and understand your kids. Let me give example. If, let's say, you've got 3 properties and you've got 3 children, you could actually actually distribute to each of the children that particular one property for each, right? So that on its own helps with making sure that you don't create fragmented assets, instead of saying, listen, all my kids must equally share all those 3 properties. If also, for instance, you see that, listen, by leaving this property to all my kids, it might create administrative nightmare because I'll be creating fragmented assets. They may not be agreeing and see eye to eye in the decision around that particular property. I might as well dispose this property at death. And you can stipulate that. And when you're speaking to a financial advisor, say, listen, I'm consider to dispose this particular assets at death. Therefore, I'm going to stipulate that in my will, so that they can rather distribute or share the residual of that being money, actual cash. That is, some people, what they then do, they decide to rather bequeath that particular assets into the trust. But also, that is very, you need to be mindful and say who's going to actually maintain that particular trust, because trust on its own comes with administrative costs. So guys, dealing with those family homes is very, very important. That's why it's so important to think through and plan it when you're still alive. But of course, the solution is not going to be the same for each and every one of us. Therefore, that's why your circumstances, your understanding of your kids is very important, because you may find that other kids, even though you left them with fragmented assets, they're able to reach consensus on what happens with that property. Another thing is that also, when you create this rather bequeathing assets to your kids, understand your kids. I'll give example. Let's say you leave a child who wants to stay in the urban areas, and you leave them with a farm or a property that is in a remote areas. They might not care about it, and as a result, that hard-earned wealth may disappear as a result of them actually not in taking care of that particular property, because they're not interested in staying in those remote areas. So understand your kids, involving your kids in a process of your doing estate planning is so important, because then you are able to make an informed decision. Okay, so that's why it's so important to consult all the affected parties when you're doing estate planning. Are you in that dilemma? You're more than welcome to reach out to me. My details are on my profile. WhatsApp me, email me. Let's have engagement about the dilemma that you're faced with when it comes to your estate planning. Good luck.